In this video, we're going to talk about how your brain works, how being stressed impacts your performance, the impact of using psychological skills, and how all of this information will impact your performance. Your brain plays a big role in your recovery process and your athletic performance as well. Something to remember is that your brain locks in and grabs a hold of negative information and tends to forget the positive information. This is called theory of ironic processing. For example, in your rehabilitation process, you could state, "Don't mess up like last time," or "Don't do this exercise wrong again." And your brain is just going to constantly remember about the negative things and just constantly thinking about not messing up. Instead, you need to practice positive self-talk. This will rewire your brain and start focusing on the positive things instead of the negative things.
Our brains can be split into three levels: the vegetative level, limbic system, and neocortex. The first level, the vegetative level, is where all of our automatic processes happen, such as breathing and heart rate. Here we have the limbic system, which is the second level, and this is where our emotions come from, and the stress response comes from this level as well. So memories from our past experiences affect our stress response. So for you, an injured athlete, you might remember a time that you got injured, and that memory, if it's negative, may increase your stress response. The final level is the neocortex, and this is where your personality is and conscious thought occurs here. So from our limbic system, we had our stress response. This can be further broken down into three stages. The first stage being our immediate stage, which lasts about 2 to 3 seconds. Here, our sympathetic nervous system is responding, which is responsible for our fight or flight. Epinephrine and norepinephrine are released, and they act as neurotransmitters here because it's quick and the communication between neuron to neuron takes less time. We also see an increase in heart rate. Our second stage is our intermediate stage. It's about 20 to 30 seconds, and since it takes so longer, our epinephrine and norepinephrine act as hormones here, and these are released from the adrenal medulla. Finally, we have the prolonged stage. This is really long. It can take anywhere from minutes to weeks. We have acetylcholine, thyroxine, and vasopressin, which are released during this stage. Specifically, vasopressin is also known as the antidiuretic hormone. When we're stressed, our body holds on to more water, and this causes an increase in blood pressure.
One of the major effects of prolonged stress is the negative emotions that come along with it. These can be things such as depression and anxiety. These negative emotions impact your healing process by causing the release of glucocorticoids and catecholamines that prohibit the removal of injured tissue from your body when you're trying to heal. Not only do they do that, but it also can cause sleep disturbances, which keeps your body from healing.
Stress directly impacts our state of arousal. A certain amount of arousal is necessary for high performance, but you don't want too much arousal because that can lead to negative impacts on your performance. You have two types of arousal, somatic and cognitive. Somatic arousal has to do with your body, what's actually happening. So you might experience a tearing of your ACL. Cognitive arousal has to do with how stimulated your brain is. So how much information you're taking in from your surroundings and processing it. You might also experience anxiety. This all has to do with your perception of these things. This is where your mindset comes into play. So this can also be broken down into somatic and cognitive. Somatic anxiety is the perception of your body. You might be feeling instability from your ACL tearing. The feeling of instability is your perception of that. You also have cognitive anxiety, which is the perception of your brain. So you might be thinking thoughts such as you won't heal or your recovery process won't get better.
Having a negative mindset directly contributes to the anxiety that you may be feeling. Like we mentioned earlier, our brain likes to focus on the negative thoughts and emotions that we might be having. So it's extra important that we train ourselves to have a positive mindset. In our next section, we're going to give you some strategies for how to ease these negative feelings.
There are several psychological skills that you can use to help you when you return to your sport. These include goal setting, positive self-talk, imagery, and relaxation training. So with goal setting, when you want to try to set goals for yourself when you're playing again, think about the positive things and avoid the words like don't. And with positive self-talk, like we talked about earlier in this video, try to talk to yourself in a positive manner and avoid negative things as well. When you do return to your sport, using this information that we presented in this video will help you when you feel less motivated, stressed, or even depressed.